Hello, everyone. I am Kristel Bauer, and I am so excited to be here today with you presenting Mindset is Everything. And these words are really powerful, and there's something that I use quite often with my speaking and presentations and with my business Live Greatly. And I want to go over today 6 steps to naturally optimize your mind, your body, and your spirit and achieve your goals. So goals is a really important word, and each letter is going to represent something different. So I'm very, very excited to share all this wonderful information with all of you today. And this is just something I wanted to share. You have the ability to break free of old, worn out, limiting beliefs and step into who you are meant to be. And this can happen today. And this statement is really powerful. We hold on to so many limitations that are lies. They're not true, they're not real. And we have the power within us to choose again, to break free of those old worn out beliefs, and to really give ourselves permission to succeed. Because ultimately, our success is going to come from within. We need to be the ones to allow ourselves to achieve our goals. And a lot of times we look outside of ourselves for permission to do these things. But what I found over and over again in my life is that it needs to come from me. I need to be the one to decide that I'm capable, that I'm worthy, and that I can achieve my dreams. So I'm going to share some steps with you today to head in this direction. And I do have a healthcare background, so it is very important that I share a disclaimer with you so we're all on the same page. And the views and opinions expressed in this Live Greatly presentation are purely the opinions of the author. They are not intended to provide medical advice or treatment recommendations. And the contents of this presentation are intended for informational and educational purposes only. And please always seek the guidance of your physician or other qualified health professional when you have any questions regarding your specific health, any changes to diet and exercise, any medical conditions. And before taking any medications, including any over-the-counter drugs, any supplements, any vitamins, any herbs, you always want to consult a physician or other qualified healthcare professional. So a little bit about me. So again, my name is Kristel Bauer. I'm a physician assistant. I'm the founder of Live Greatly. And my background is a little bit unique. So I started out with traditional kind of Western medicine training as a physician assistant. And, I did that for many years, and I graduated with my master's as a PA back in 2006. And so, I worked in that area and in Western medicine in some different fields. And then I ended up staying home with my children for about 6 years. So I took some time off. And, what happened during that time, I, was able to be a mom. I was able to kind of experience that. But I also for a bit kind of lost my passion for medicine, and I wasn't really sure if I would ever go back. And I thought, I'm probably just going to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if I really going to do anything again with my career. And then life presented me with some challenges and really shook things up. And my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer about 4 years ago, and it was totally unexpected. It really came out of the blue, and it created a lot of change, and it also helped me go down a path of discovery. And I started to explore spirituality. I took my mother to an integrative medical doctor to see what else we could do for healing. I started to explore Reiki. So that sparked something in me that there's more. There's more to healing. There's more to wellness. There's more to life than what I had been previously seeing. And it really broadened my perspective. And it also really took away a lot of my fear, the fear about judgment, a fear of failure. When I put those fears into perspective, I was able to really just not give myself, or I should say, to break free of those limitations I had placed on myself. And I decided to go back to work, and I went into integrative psychiatry, where I got a lot of different experience and learned a ton. And I also was functional medicine practice. I then decided to further my education, and I became an integrative medicine fellow, which I'll be graduating in September with the Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine through the University of Arizona. So that's been a wonderful experience. I became a Reiki master. And then I founded Live Greatly, where now I have a podcast, Live Greatly, which I talk a lot about optimizing mental health, overcoming fear, lots of wonderful guests and tips on there. So please check that out. And, university lecturing, speaking, and I really want to share my message with a broader audience. So I left one-on-one clinical practice because I think that all that I've learned, all my experiences, I really want to help other people awaken to these things. And so that is my story. And you can learn more about me at www.livegreatly.co. Again, check out my podcast on all the major networks, and it's titled Live Greatly. I'm speaker, doing a lot of different things, webinars, so sign up for my email list and you will hear about all those things. And also, please, if you stay tuned until the end of the presentation, I am giving everyone a free gift as well, so stay tuned. So now it's time to start heading in the direction of our goals. And if you're with me, yes, please say yes. Let's head in the direction of our goals. Let's get excited, get motivated, because you can decide right here and right now to change. And just this one step, one shift, one change can really move the direction of your life to a more positive, uplifting place. So G and the word goals stands for gratitude. And gratitude is extremely powerful. And, I'm sure most of you have heard about gratitude and the power of gratitude. But part of my mission is really to try and bridge the gap between kind of conventional Western medicine and all these other wonderful healing modalities and practices. And I love talking about things that have research behind them, to inspire people, because I talk to a lot of different, again, universities. So having research is always so important. I think it helps convince people that it's, to take these things seriously. So research shows that gratitude can support overall well-being, optimism, optimal mental health, and it's something that we can really harness and develop. So even if right now you're like, oh, I haven't been doing this, you can start. So consider starting a gratitude journal, gratitude jars, where you can write down something you're thankful for and put it in the jar. That's another thing that a lot of people do. And you want to try and make it a daily habit. So the more that you practice gratitude, the more you're going to strengthen those connections in the brain. And I kind of think of it like if you're working out your muscles, right? And you want to try and strengthen those muscles. So you're going to want to do it on a regular basis. It's the same thing when you're practicing gratitude. You want to strengthen those connections in your brain and the pattern of looking at life from a sense of gratitude. So again, make it a daily practice, and this can be extremely life-changing. Now, O in goals is for optimism, and research has shown that optimism can support immune function, and it's also been linked to a higher quality of life. So how do you start, I guess, harnessing and developing optimism? Some people think you're born an optimist or you're born a pessimist. And, I think that environment definitely has something to do with it, but we do have the power to make change here, to make positive change. And some ways that you can try and develop optimism are doing things like practicing mindfulness, and just really trying to be in the here and now, and that is something I'll talk a little bit more about later, but I'm a huge fan of mindfulness, and I've completed an MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction course, and I just think that it's a really powerful practice. Also, practicing gratitude, right? The last one, that can help you develop optimism. Looking at who you're spending your time with. So if you're spending your time with people who are uplifting, who are, nourishing, that also can help kind of bring out those qualities in yourself. If you're spending time with people who are, looking more at the negatives and harboring some of those qualities, that actually can impact you very, very strongly. So you want to look at who you're spending your time with. I'm looking at reading uplifting books, listening to uplifting podcasts, speakers. Again, my podcast, Live Greatly, I really try and make it uplifting and nourishing for people. And working with your thoughts, so different counselors, and there's different ways to do that, where you can try and work with your thoughts and really kind of challenge some of those thoughts that maybe have been cycling in your mind that are holding you back from your greatness and from achieving your goals. Now, A is for assess your boundaries. And this is really important. A lot of times we get very kind of complacent with where things are at, and you can get very comfortable, and we fear change. And while I totally understand this, and I was there for quite a while, what I have found is that when you start to test that and push past those boundaries that you've created for yourself, that's where the magic happens. That's where there's like wonderful growth and development and learning. And if you don't push past those boundaries, you really are not going to be able to discover your ultimate potential and all the wonderful talents that we all have. And one story that I think is a powerful one is I used to be so afraid of public speaking. And honestly, I remember in college, like so anxious the night before I had to give a speech, and oh my gosh, butterflies. I absolutely hated it. And I never in a million years would have thought that that's something I would have wanted to do for my career. And after I went through all those different shifts and changes about 4 years ago, I started to challenge those limiting beliefs. And I asked myself, am I really bad at public speaking, or is this something maybe I'm just uncomfortable with? Is it something that I can improve on and really grow? So I decided to put myself out there, and then I started to do this university lecturing, and I really loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I found out it wasn't that I was bad at it. It was that it made me a little uncomfortable, or in the beginning a lot, but it made me nervous. And the more you do that, the more confidence you build up when you start breaking out of those fears and out of that little box that we create for ourselves sometimes. I can do this, I can't do this, and fill in the blank why. And we make up these stories, and a lot of them are just, they're not true. So assess your boundaries. It's really about looking at your life and looking at where are you holding yourself back. What maybe it's in your job, in your personal life, in your relationships, and what have you been telling yourself, that's maybe in repeat, that you're not even aware of, that is holding you back from your success, that's holding you back from achieving your goals? And maybe you're even afraid to have big goals because you don't know if it's possible for yourself. But I'm here to say that we all can achieve more than we ever think possible, truly. And you can achieve more than what your mind is currently telling you. So it just takes getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, but you want to do it wisely. So you want to try and assess where can you get out of that comfort zone in the wise way that's going to be for some positive reason, that's uplifting, nourishing for you and for others. And some research has shown that some stress is actually needed for maximal performance. So I like to think of it and view it as excitement. We all need to have this to a certain degree. And we want to make sure that we challenge ourselves, but at the same time, we don't want to surpass our stress threshold. So you want to go to this like certain degree where you're challenged, you're inspired, you're excited. You don't want to burn out. You don't want to overdo it, because chronic stress is definitely, it's harmful. It's detrimental. So you need to learn effective ways to calm down your nervous system. We all do. We need to learn ways to calm down our nervous system to prevent chronic stress. So this needs to be done in a wise and aware way. You can work with different people on this, talk to your healthcare professionals about it. And I just recommend that we all kind of evaluate where in our lives can we really push those boundaries a little bit. Let's create some new potential and new possibilities for ourselves. Now, L in goals stands for learn to connect. And this is something that is extremely powerful. So, connection is so meaningful, and it's so necessary for our overall well-being and for our minds, for our bodies, for our spirit. And I think sometimes uh, we lose some of that real connection through technology. So if you're not having a real conversation with someone, if you're not, visibly seeing someone, if you're just doing a quick text message here and there, and I have nothing, I text all the time, but I think we need to, in addition to these technology, we also need to make sure we're developing true, real connection. And there's extensive research into the power and the importance of connection. It can increase longevity, it can support immune function, reduce anxiety, depression, improve self esteem. So there's definitely research there. I think part of the problem for some people is that really to truly connect on a deeper level, we do sometimes need to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable can be a scary place to be, putting yourself out there, letting people really see who you are, and the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection. We have to be present, we have to be open to receive to really connect. And for me, I go back to looking at myself in high school and college and grade school, right, as a child, and you just want to fit in, you want people to like you, and you start at that point. Now I'd start worrying about what are people going to say, and you maybe try and mold yourself to be a certain way to fit in and into different groups. And then as I've evolved and grown and learned, I've really gotten more confident, and you're able to really figure out what's important to you, who you are, and to allow other people to see that. And that definitely does take courage, and you have to learn to just get over that fear of rejection, and to love yourself, and to really connect with yourself and learn who are you. And once you kind of have that connection with yourself, then that opens up the door for you to have even deeper connections with others, and deeper connections with your loved ones, and truer friendships. So I think right now, what's really important, especially as we're going through social distancing and a lot of different things in our world, is that we find new ways to connect. So visibly seeing people's faces, whether even if it's with Zoom or these different technology, like actually seeing someone's face and having a conversation, that's going to be a better way to truly connect, right now, than a quick text message. Just do both, but you want to make sure that you're also having the visible sense of seeing someone's face if you can, and actually hearing their voice. And don't be afraid to, put yourself out there to make new connections and to have new relationships blossom. Because if you don't do that, you're really not going to be able to develop those deeper levels of relationships, and that we all really need to thrive. So S, okay, so S in goals stands for two things: self-talk and self-care. So self-talk, this is something that is it's hard for a lot of people, and I think that every single person at one point or another, has some self-talk that could use improvement. A lot of times we're not nice to ourselves all the time, and I wish that we all would treat ourselves, with the love and compassion that we deserve. And you want to start paying attention, not judgmentally, to your inner dialogue, and different ways to do that. One of which is mindfulness. And it's a really wonderful practice to help support just kind of the awareness. Because really, once you have awareness, you can start to work on shifting and challenging those limiting beliefs and negative automatic thoughts. But until you're aware of them, you really can't do anything about it. So it's just non-judgmentally starting to notice, right? And there's different practitioners that work on these things. I personally, journaling and writing has helped me with some of this. Counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy, those are all, wonderful ways to have guidance and help as you're working through these different things. Working with affirmations that's also a really powerful way, used correctly. So, as I mentioned earlier, we tell ourselves lies all the time. We make up these stories about ourselves and about others and about situations. And it really does take um, the awareness and then, some effort to break free of these lies and to awaken to our truth and to awaken to our ultimate potential. So we all deserve to treat ourselves with kindness. Um, Other ways that I personally have found to be effective for me to help with this and to develop self-love is to start to just be with myself. So, sitting with meditation, having time to reflect, being out in nature, doing things that I love that make me feel confident, that make me feel empowered. So for me, I love exercise. And so things like yoga, started qigong, and those make me feel good. And I feel personally, when I'm doing things that make me feel empowered and good, that this my self-talk is in a better place. So I would, encourage everyone to do something that they love, something that is nourishing for yourself every day, and just to start having the awareness. Mindfulness is wonderful, as I've said, and there are different programs for that. There's tons of books on that, and to learn more about it as well. So now self-care. Okay, so self-care is a huge topic. I could talk about this all day long, and a lot of my webinars and or seminars and talks are dive deeply into these topics. So, you want to just take a look at your lifestyle and your self-care practices. The importance of a nourishing diet, that's huge. Diet is kind of at the base of health in a lot of ways. How are you nourishing yourself? Gut health and nutrition is linked to mental health in so many different ways. And coming from an integrative psychiatry background, again, this is something I would talk about all the time with my patients, and the connection between inflammation and mental health and all the rest of it. So looking at your diet, that's a really good place to start. And personally, I practice, or I eat a plant-based diet. The Integrated Medicine Fellowship that I'm a part of, they talk about an anti-inflammatory diet, which I am a huge fan of as well, and that incorporates a kind of a plant-based diet. So I personally, I eat organic when I can, and I try and stay away from processed foods as best I can. And obviously there's the occasional splurge, and I don't think that going to the extreme is ever necessarily helpful for people. But you do want to try and take a look at your diet. You can work with a professional on this, a nutritionist or healthcare professional to help guide you. Then also sleep. So sleep is so very important for our minds, for our bodies, for our spirit. If you have ever not had a good night of sleep, which I'm sure all of us have experienced, you can feel the difference the next day. You're not alert, as alert. You don't have the same energy. It can deplete your immune system. So this is something you really want to practice good sleep hygiene. And this is another topic I've done some university lecturing on, different sleep disorders. So again, I could go on and on about this stuff. Exercise, moving your body, there's so much value here. You do, again, want to talk to a healthcare professional about this and see what works for you. Other self-care practices. So, this is also looking at in a deeper level of spirituality. And spirituality, connecting with something larger than yourself. So things like being in nature is a really wonderful practice that I absolutely love. And see what works for you. Again, meditation, I am a huge fan of. And I love that there actually is research that's shown positive changes in the brain after an 8-week mindfulness-based program. So mindfulness incorporates meditation, it incorporates body scans, an awareness of your thoughts non-judgmentally, non-attachment. And I just absolutely love, again, that research is showing these positive shifts. So there's lots of different mind-body practices that I could go on and on about. And I am going to be doing a webinar to go more in depth on this, because I just absolutely love this topic. Things like guided imagery, biofeedback, hypnosis. There's just so many things, but you do want to take time to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself, and to make sure that you're taking care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. So I wanted to give you guys all this wonderful opportunity to try out a meditation and mindfulness app. So I'm going to be giving you this link here for a free gift. So I'm a Metatopia ambassador, and I partnered up with Metatopia, which is a meditation and mindfulness app, because I really want to make meditation and mindfulness more approachable for people. And I think that an app is just accessible. You can access it wherever you're at. I love that they have shorter meditations and programs. Like I recently just did a 12-minute one, so you can fit it into your schedule. And they also can get dig a little bit deeper. So they have series that can kind of dig a little deeper into anxiety and other things as well. And you can focus it on certain areas. So they have things to focus on relationships or anxiety, performance, etc. So I have a link here for a free 30-day trial. It's normally 7 days. And what you want to do is you just want to, copy and paste this link. You do have to use this link to access the 30 days, because otherwise you'll just get the 7-day. You need to actually download the app and activate it for the 30-day trial to show up. So it might say 7 or 14 days initially, but that's because you have to actually activate it. And then you should get a notification after you've entered your information, etc., that you have the 30-day trial. You have to be a first-time user. And if you don't love it, just cancel before the 30 days is up so that you don't get billed. But I'm excited to share this with you. It's meditation honestly has changed my life for the better. And since I've started meditating, I just have a much deeper connection with myself, with my intuition, with spirituality, with nature. I have a new perspective on life, and it's allowed me to really tune in to myself and to my higher purpose, and to really gain a lot of wonderful insights. And I just am very excited to help spread that and to share that with others. So hopefully you can get some value from this. So I am just so grateful that I've been able to share all this wonderful information with you today. I have a lot of valuable insights and information that I'd like to share. I have a lot of different topics that I talk about, digging deeper into overcoming your fear of failure. And also, being a female entrepreneur, these mind-body modalities. I could talk about the gut-brain connection, and there's just so many things that I love talking about. So I would love to continue to support you in your businesses and organizations, and also stress management, and all of those things are topics that I love discussing. So you can go to my website, www.livegreatly.co, and sign up for my email list, and I'll notify you of any upcoming webinars, events that you could sign up for. And then you can contact me through my website for any events, speaking engagements, consulting, etc., that I may be able to help you and your business with. And also my podcast, Live Greatly, is a wonderful way for you to learn more about me and to learn more about my mission, and to hear all these wonderful people that I've interviewed. I just recently interviewed Kelly Noonan-Gores from the Heal documentary, which was wonderful. And I've just had some fantastic guests, and I'm having a blast. So check that out. And I always appreciate reviews. If you enjoyed it, subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all of those links are on the top of my website. So thank you all so very much. I'm so appreciative for being able to share this with you today. And I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.